Joining us right now, I have assembled quite the panel of experts to break down the 2024 NFL draft. I've got a couple of friends here coming in to break this down. First up, we have Mike from Castle Rock. You can see him out on the plains if you are watching our YouTube video right now. Mike has, I don't know, maybe been fighting nausea since the Denver Broncos actually traded for Zach Wilson. I don't know. But Mike, welcome back to the Dose. We always enjoy your visits.
Well, as we always say, the NFL is a year-round thing, so it's always good to get together to see what the latest news in the NFL is. So
yes, there's always something cooking in that league,
yep.
It seems like. Next up, we have the savvy veteran, Larry from Centennial, who is taking a break, at least today, from hitting the slopes. Larry, your DU Pioneers won the National Hockey Championship. Congrats. Have you sobered up yet?
Not yet, but yeah, it'll come.
Right.
But you know, last time the U Pioneers won the championship, the Avs won too. So you know, maybe there's a little good luck going on there.
We're gonna hope for exactly that. Finally, we have a newcomer here on the panel. We've had him on the Dose before, but we have Jeff from San Bernardino coming in and joining the panel. Jeff, you're a Miami Dolphins fan. You're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. You're a Seattle Mariners fan. You've got some things
explaining to do.
Yeah. But Jeff, all your teams are going to be winning a title any day now. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good. Thanks for having me on, man. It's fun. Good time.
Gentlemen, the 2024 NFL draft is now complete. I'm not sure it was a great draft class. We might look back sometime and just be like, what was going on in that year? But it's funny because I feel like there are some players in this draft that have the potential to truly be great, but they might not be the ones at the very, very top of the draft class. As usual, we saw some big reaches in this draft. But think about this. They estimate there were around 275,000 people that attended the draft in person up in Detroit. I didn't hear about anyone getting killed. Nice job. Over 12 million people watched the first round on TV. Now, for comparison, the NBA playoffs are currently pulling around 3.5 million per game. Fellas, remember when Mark Cuban and like Adam Silver told us their league was catching the NFL? I don't have a question here. I just thought it was funny, and I just wanted to say it.
That aged well, right? That take aged well.
Like milk, yes. Mike, we have a couple of stories I want to jump into first, and I'm going to start with Mike because the Denver Broncos revealed some brand spanking new uniforms last week, and as usual, they absolutely crushed it in their attempt to make the Broncos look like a world football team. Where do you rank on these new threads, and do you think they look like the Frankfurt Galaxy?
I like your European League or World League reference there. I was going more XFL, but I don't know. I mean, they're just minor tweaks, right? I mean, it wasn't
very
anything
minor tweaks.
So it's a marketing ploys to sell more uniforms. You know, I don't love them. I don't hate them. I'll get used to them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're very Texas San Antonio. They're not Major League Baseball bad. So
I think the effort was to be able to see through a snowstorm.
And you might be exactly right.
Yeah.
That actually might be what it is because they're visible. I'll give them that. I don't know if they're good looking, but they are definitely visible. They do look a little world leaguish, though. Jeff, I'm going to throw this next one up to you because the NFL has adjusted their rules to allow players the option of wearing the big Guardian cap in regular season games to enhance their, head protection against head injuries. The league said that last week. The padded headgear was mandated for players at certain positions during training camp, but they've never worn them during games. It will actually hide, I'm told, the logo and everything. How excited are you, Jeff, to see NFL players looking like Kazoo from the Flintstones?
Is this the Tua rule now or something?
I think it might be the Tua rule.
I mean, it's pretty wild to even imagine that kind of alteration to what you're going to see on the field.
The Steve Tasker rule is in effect.
But still have the visor. You still got to have the visor. That's going to make things work. Yeah, you got to be able to look downfield. So
they have to design some kind of color scheme on this stuff. You can't just have a big Q-tip on your head, can you? They've got to
I
do
mean, I
something.
wouldn't. I mean, they already took away what is it, the hip tackle, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
hip
know that
tackle's
was-
gone.
I didn't know that was a major deal, but
Well, see,
yeah. And
the
what is it,
hip
like,
and
is it like
the hip and spin
basic-
or something.
basic kickball rules for the kickoff? Like the
Yeah.
teams are like 5 feet in front of each other. No,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
getting
That-
weird.
there's-
It is getting a little bit weird.
Can
I've
I
got
just say one thing about the helmet?
yeah.
It makes me very, very angry.
Nice.
And just like that, Larry shut down the show. Okay, lastly, Larry, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell this past weekend hinted that the league was going to maybe look at going to a 2-game preseason, then an 18-game regular season, with the Super Bowl wrapping up on the Sunday evening prior to President's Day Monday. Are you in favor of watching the Super Bowl the night before you go buy a new mattress?
From the mob mattress stores.
Yes. Yes.
Half of this, what took so long? And then why not just go the full deal and make it a Saturday? Can we just fix this stuff that has been broken for so long, please?
I actually kind of like when I heard that at first, I was like, that's kind of, and I was like, maybe that's not all bad. Maybe that is the way to go. We extend the season a little bit. We knock off a few preseason games. Players are going to fake injured anyways. Okay, fellas, let's jump into the 2024 NFL draft. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to hit each team. We're going to give them each a letter grade for their performance in the draft. Is it way too early to judge? Of course it is. Do we care? No, we do not, because I'm going to tell you why. This panel, they get it. I've got a highly intelligent panel here. They have looked into their crystal ball. They are going to know exactly how these teams did, and they're going to tell you exactly how they did right now. Let's begin in the AFC East, where the Buffalo Bills have been dominating that division, but they can't seem to get past one specific team, and that, of course, is the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, the Bills have lost a few pieces this offseason, so they were looking for some help. So what did they do? They went out and traded down twice in the first round, and one of those times was to the Kansas City Chiefs. More on that later. But honestly, what are the Bills doing? They used their second-round pick to grab Florida State wide receiver Keon Coleman, which is nice. I like Coleman, but he's not a speed guy over the top. They later did get a safety out of Utah, Cole Bishop. Okay, I guess he probably needed maybe a little bit better of a player. Mike, what grade would you give the Bills in this draft?
I don't know. I mean, if the and I can't think of his name right now, but if the kid that from Texas that the Chiefs snatched up after trading
Worthy
ends up being the next Tyreek Hill, then it's a double F, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? I mean, you can't get past one team, and what do? You hand them the fastest guy in the world. I don't know. I assume they got what they wanted, a big possession receiver, not anything super speedy. But I don't know. B minus, C plus. I don't know.
Oh, you're so nice. You're so much nicer than I would have been. I'm on a no tolerance Wednesday here.
I think Cole Bishop was a reach. I
do too.
I think they picked him a little early.
Yep.
He's a little raw. He's needs a little more discipline on the field.
Agreed.
Yeah, and they had a lot of holes to fill, and I don't know if they began to fill even half of them. So
I would agree with that. Jeff, let's go to you because, like I said, you are a Miami Dolphins fan. The Miami Dolphins have a very explosive offense as long as wide receiver Tyreek Hill can stay out of legal trouble. So they went out and they grabbed some defense in their first round pick. They grabbed Penn State edge rusher Chop Robinson. Unfortunately, he might need a little bit of time to develop. I don't know that he's quite there yet. They did also grab Houston offensive tackle Patrick Paul, 6'7", 330. He's a big dude.
big boy.
Yes, they need a guard, not a tackle, but whatever. They need to keep Tua from having convulsions, right? Jeff, I'm a little concerned about the Dolphins picks, but how do you grade Miami?
I mean, you can always, tell what kind of guy Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer are going after. They want the speedster. They want the explosive guy. it's kind of why they went, to build up our running back room with White from Tennessee. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to him. We got 5 guys under 4.4, man, that can run, under 4.4. So, I mean, you can't catch, or I mean, you can't tackle what you can't catch. So, and then as far as the defensive side, yeah, Chop Robinson, and then Mo something from CSU. So,
Yeah, Kamara. Yeah, I like him.
yeah, dude, that's another one I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of get some action, because that really is what crippled us right after Christmas, and right, that the
Yeah, you're
whole
right.
the December, fallout that we have. Our guys start going down, Achilles are popping like popcorn, and then there's no pass rush. So I mean, good on him. I would say, obviously biased, but I'm going to give my team a strong B minus.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I have a question about Miami too, though.
What do you got?
And Jeff, maybe you can answer this, being the fan. As far as undrafted free agents go, how do you rate Storm Duck for Miami?
So I texted that to my other really diehard Dolphin fan buddy, and I said, "What you know about Storm Duck?" And he goes, "Is that a new Pokemon? I don't know, man." And he didn't even know at the time. So yeah, I mean, when you're following Dolphins Twitter, which Dolphins Twitter can be a cesspool sometimes. I mean, there was even talk about drafting Tua's brother. So
That would have been so good.
It can get wild. It can get wild. So I mean, Storm Duck is a good, strong name. I mean, I don't care who he is, as long as he can fly, man. I don't care where he's at.
Dude, I had some Storm Duck one night in Albuquerque. It was unbelievable.
At a gas station.
Just absolutely epic. Let's move forward. Larry, the New England Patriots are going through a rebuild mode. They need a new quarterback. And honestly, they'll probably eventually need a new head coach too. With the number 3 overall pick, the Pats grabbed North Carolina quarterback Drake May, speaking of Duck. And hey, somebody quick, name your favorite Drake May highlight. Right, it doesn't exist. The Patriots have gone with 0 wide receivers. So they did take Washington wide out, Jalen Polk a little bit later. Larry, if you had to grade the Patriots draft, what are you giving them?
Oh, it's a solid C, right?
Yeah.
And you'll find a theme for me in that category. But yeah, they drafted the guy, I guess, who they needed to draft. It's quarterback. They also drafted their only team to draft 2 quarterbacks, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, because they did pick up Milton from Tennessee as well. No idea why.
No idea why. And theoretically, they're going to sit behind Brissett for the first year. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't pass up Drake May, but at the same time, I'm not sure what the plan is. I'm sure they have one, but
you're more confident than me. It's funny because and look, 4 people on this panel, we all hate Bill Belichick. Do not underestimate how good he was, though. And I know, hey, we want him to be done. We're through with him. He's gone. Be careful what you wish for, because I got news for you. It might go downhill real fast. You never want to be the guy after the guy. Let's finish up the AFC West. The New York Jets were unable to draft a brand new Achilles tendon for quarterback Aaron Rodgers, so they got the next best thing. They picked up Olu Fashanu, and this is an aging offensive line, so this is definitely a need. Here's my concern. Fashanu is a really athletic kid, should be a step in and play kind of guy. Here's my problem. The Jets have been spending a ton of money on offensive line, and it isn't doing anything for them. They're not getting any better. Maybe it's not the players. Maybe it's the scheme. I don't know. But enough about my conspiracy theories. Aaron Rodgers has enough. Mike, how would you grade the New York Jets draft?
I actually like their draft. They addressed number 1 need in offensive line there.
Sure.
I think Malachi Corley, the kid from Western Kentucky, probably would have gone earlier if he was at a bigger program. I think they got good value with him in the 3rd. So got some depth at running back. I like their draft. I think they hit on as many needs as they could get.
Yeah. No, I think they did a
I do like Jordan Travis, 5th round.
Oh yeah,
take a flyer on him, right? Let
Sure.
him heal up, let him learn behind Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You can go sit in a teepee and smoke whatever and talk aliens and whatever we do. But I think that was it could be a good pick.
I think you could too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what the Jets did. I'm
It'll be
not
interesting.
sure
It'll
how
be
much I
interesting.
believe them.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It'll be
Go ahead.
interesting to see how long they stick with their head coach. I mean,
yeah. I thought he might be
he-
gone last year.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what kind of regime change in there is going to really screw with the head of the of the Rooks. So, and I'm just rooting for them all to
Right.
go 8-9.
Let's get out of the AFC East. Let's move to the NFC East, where the Dallas Cowboys are heading into a make or break season, and they've done nothing whatsoever. In the first round this year in the draft, they trade down. Then they selected an offensive tackle out of Oklahoma, Tyler Guyton, that I think they kind of overdrafted. They used their later picks to try to upgrade that defense that isn't nearly as good as they act like it is. Jeff, does Jerry Jones even care about winning anything anymore?
I don't even think he knows which home he's supposed to be at the end of each day. I mean, he's just wandering around with his pants around his ankles, I'm sure, and just wants to just say, "Are we all in? Are we all in?" So, I mean, it's just been a circus to watch them, and I think when you can fill up swimming pools with Cowboy fan tears, it's always good. It's always good.
I agree. Give me
They got
your
Zeke,
grade.
They got Zeke back. Oh, my grade? I'm gonna probably. I mean, gosh, D.
Okay.
D.
Yeah, that's fair.
D. I've never, just stick with your D now.
I understand. Yeah, I like that. The New York
I watched
Jets.
the back and forth. I watched the
No,
back and forth with Micah Parsons, and he was trying to say who was he talking to? Micah Parsons was talking to somebody saying that the NFC East was better than the AFC North, and in general.
Micah needs to focus.
The delusion is spreading in Dallas.
Yeah, Micah needs to focus on things he can handle because he talks a little too much. The New York Jets are up next, and we weren't sure what they were going to do in this draft because, yes, they gave quarterback Daniel Jones a big contract, but then he got hurt a few weeks ago. He did his press conference, apparently whacked out of his mind on Molly. Well, the Giants took LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors, so apparently they are still in on Daniel Jones. But Larry, how do you grade what the Giants did in the draft?
Can you have an F? I guess. Well, they got a great pick with Neighbors.
Yeah,
but
I like the Neighbors pick.
I don't think anybody likes Jones.
No.
Do they?
Mm-mm.
So why they didn't get a quarterback and there were quarterbacks available, why they didn't do that throughout the draft, right? So I don't know. But I don't give him a good grade. I'll give him a D.
Last year he goes down and everyone seemed instantly happier that he was gone. So I kind of thought maybe they're out, but cooler heads prevail, whatever.
I mean, who could they have gotten? Was Rattler or something, right? I mean, because I mean, I was just hearing today just all the background with Rattler as far as some Netflix thing he did when he was in high school.
Well,
so I don't really know. Would that
could have got
sink his draft stock that much? Okay,
they could have got any of the that weren't in the top 3, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So they had plenty of opportunity, and like you said, Clint, everybody felt like that now was the chance. They could go find somebody else, and they didn't. So I guess they're sticking with him. It's always good to have the bottom dwellers in your division, right?
For sure.
With Saquon gone, you're gonna have to throw.
It's going to be very.
Nix and Penix were all available.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah,
wow.
and they opted not to go that route. So we'll see. I have a feeling that might not go so well. The Philadelphia Eagles, they seem to be making a habit of getting value in the draft. We know they needed cornerbacks, so they moved up. They got Toledo cornerback Quinion Mitchell. They got Iowa cornerback Cooper DeJean. Mike, Cooper is a white cornerback, which is kind of like seeing a black field goal kicker. Mike, 1, is Cooper DeJean our Rosa Parks? And 2, what grade do you give the Eagles?
You know, I got to give them an A. I mean, and a lot of it isn't their doing. This is the second year in a row where top talent has fallen in their laps. It's ridiculous. With the top half of the draft being all offense, all these incredibly talented defensive players were falling to these guys in the 20s and even early in the second round. It's ridiculous. They got two very possibly starting DBs without really having to do much.
Right.
Good story with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, kind of cool.
I mean, and then they got a freaking beast late in the I don't know, 5th, 6th round, that Johnny Wilson kid.
Yeah.
6'6", 231. They got to convert him to a tight end, but
right.
I mean, a pass catching monster. I like their draft. Second year in a row, I really like their draft.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Howie Roseman has it pretty much figured out over there, man. He's doing
seems like
good.
it. And you know, he does a lot of what Mike said. Hey, just let everyone else be stupid and I'll just take the leftovers and I'll be fine. Because let everyone go reach on a quarterback that you shouldn't be taking that early, but everybody does it. So he just sits back and watches and waits and picks his moments. Okay, let's finish up the NFC East with the Washington Commanders. They use their number 2 overall pick. They take LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. This franchise clearly learned nothing from the Robert Griffin experience. This kid gets smashed more than a Kardashian at the BET Awards. I'm not rooting for it. I'm just saying I'm going to set the over-under at him being injured for the year. I'm going to put it at week 3. Jeff, tell me how you would bet that line and what's your letter grade for them?
Oh, man. I mean, Washington has always been just a dumpster fire for a long time, down from ownership down to the head coach, down to the, toothpick of a quarterback. So it's always going to be that plight that our nation's capital has to deal with every year in and year out. I'm not expecting much from anything over there at all, period. I mean, and like you said, it's that division where it's like, who's going to suck the least?
Yes.
Is that whole division.
Yeah.
But Philly
could be good.
They were running away with it 10-1 last year. Complete implosion.
And
right
we don't know.
cue.
Yeah, did they lose the locker room in that whole situation? Because they might have.
I mean, back to what Mike was saying, as far as how good that roster is in Philadelphia. But when your head coach has lost the locker room, Sirianni, then who knows? But I mean, who's the head coach right now in Washington?
Cowboys defensive coordinator. Why am I spacing?
Quinn. Okay. All right. Well, at least he's an experienced head coach, so he should be able to.
All right. Right. Yeah. Of course. All right. Did you give them a grade? Did you give Washington a grade?
Oh, probably C-.
Fair. All right. Let's move to the AFC North. The Baltimore Ravens are trying to bounce back after that disappointing finish in the playoffs last year, and they were able to address a need. They get Clemson cornerback Nate Wiggins, who is kind of a combine hero. He showed a little bit better, I think, than people thought he would, and I think he can actually play. They did also address their offensive line. The Ravens, remember, got running back Derrick Henry in the offseason, although they already have a running back in Lamar Jackson. But I thought they might actually get him maybe some more receiving weapons. Larry, how did you like what the Baltimore Ravens did?
They always do pretty good, right? I give them above average, B grade. Yeah. They draft well. They can't seem to get over the hump or beat the teams they need to in the playoffs. So what good is drafting well if you don't, if you can't get the actual players you need to, to do that. But, interesting thing about Baltimore was their 4th round pick, right? TJ Tampa. And it's just a cool name. I thought
it is. I don't know if he can play or not, but I like it.
Yeah.
I think I read a novel one time and he was a private investigator. So that was kind of cool. Yeah. I like what Baltimore did. I think they did a good job. The Cincinnati Bengals know they have to do a better job of protecting quarterback Joe Burrow after they broke his wrist for him last year, or whatever he had wrong with his wrist. So the Bengals grabbed Georgia tackle Amarius Mims with their opening pick. And then On the second day, they got Michigan defensive tackle Chris Jenkins. I like both of those picks, but the Bengals have some issues. Trey Hendrickson and T. Higgins have said they want to be traded.
Yeah.
Mike, did the Bengals, a traditionally moronic front office, did they do enough in the draft, and can they keep those two guys happy?
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be the way they drafted. You think that they're planning on keeping those guys, right? Because they did not address those needs.
Correct.
Mims, for as early as he picked that guy, I mean, he's a freaking monster, right? 6'7", 6'8", 340.
Giant.
8 starts though. That worries me, picking a guy that early. They're really banking on him. I don't know, using what experience, right? I mean, I like the Chris Jenkins story as well. Another father-son, which we saw like 5 or 6 of this year. It's getting crazy. We're getting old, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I think they're hoping that maybe they have something kind of behind the scenes going to keep those guys. Because if not, those guys have more leverage now. So
yes, they do.
It's going to be interesting. I go like a C+ for since.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The Cleveland Browns might be one of the most confusing teams in the NFL right now, because remember, they did make the playoffs last year for the first time since 2020. They actually looked pretty good, but remember, they did it without quarterback Deshaun Watson, who was injured or something. I don't know. Well, the Browns had no first round pick this year because they traded away for Deshaun. So they didn't pick until Friday, and they chose Ohio State defensive tackle Michael Hall Jr., which is a solid pick for need. But Jeff, Deshaun's backup is Jameis Winston. Should the Browns have drafted a massage therapist? How would you grade Cleveland's draft?
Oh boy. I mean, I would probably give them a C, average, because, nothing really jumps off the page at you. I didn't really hear any noise from
and they didn't have a first pick,
people.
So
yeah, exactly. So they're going to take what scraps are kind of left around the carcass. So I mean, yeah, I still think that they've got a good head coach, but because like you said, with all their plight last year, they kind of still muscled it out. So I think overall their decision making, average C.
I don't know. Are they worse with Deshaun in the lineup as opposed to Joe Flacco, which sounds, I know, insane to say, but I don't know.
Let Jameis sling it, man. Let Jameis sling it. I mean, obviously they got so much money tied up with Deshaun, but
please,
I mean, it's going to happen. You know he's going to get in there.
I can't wait. Jameis is the most unintentionally funny person I've ever witnessed.
He's good.
It's him and Joe Biden. It's tight. It's close, but
when he's
right.
interviewing fish on a boat.
Oh my goodness. He's just completely. I don't know Jameis's background. I know this. The bus he rode on was not very long. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a history of having very solid draft classes. It seems like every single year. And they went out this year, and I thought did a pretty decent job on the draft again. They went and got a big offensive guard, Troy Fautanu, I believe is how you pronounce it. Then they got West Virginia center Zach Frazier. Those are both good picks to upgrade that offensive line. But will they help new quarterback Russell Wilson from seeing ghosts in the backfield and just running himself into sacks that aren't there? Larry, did the Steelers do enough so that Russ could maybe try out like a new slogan like Steelers, let's weld, or something like that?
Well, I think it speaks volumes, right? So as well as the two that you mentioned, they picked up another offensive line, right? So 3 offensive linemen in 7 picks, I think tells you everything that you need to know about how they feel about their quarterback position. Now, those guys got to get in and play, right? And hopefully play at a high level, but and who's to say they're doing anything wrong, right? Teams should probably pick more offensive linemen than they do. So you can't discredit them for that, but that's a lot of investment in an offensive line to protect kind of a crapshoot in what they have at the quarterback position. I give them a C.
Okay. Yeah. And we don't know what they're protecting. They may end up protecting Justin Fields. We're not really sure. It's going to
Right.
be very, very interesting to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's move over to the NFC North. And we get to a team that may have completely changed their fortunes, because the Chicago Bears not only had the top pick in this draft, which they used on USC quarterback Caleb Williams, but they also had the number 9 pick and got Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze. I'm not sure their defense is any good, but this offense should be really good. Well, just like when they drafted Justin Fields with the number 11 pick like 3 years ago. Mike, Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. Is the guy who paints his fingernails going to flip that script in the Windy City?
That's the big question, right? I mean,
Yes.
all the talent in the world, he's compared to Patrick Mahomes and blah, 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 but it doesn't matter if you don't go to the right situations. So the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator, head coach, they got a task ahead of them to keep him, on the right path to being successful. So, boy, 2 picks in the top 10, and it's very possible they may have knocked both of them out of the park.
Yeah.
I love the wide receiver. He's just a freak. Yeah, I don't know. You're right though. I mean, you go through that potential day one starting offense, and it's wow.
Oh, yeah.
If the quarterback is average to slightly above average, they're gonna be good. They're gonna be really good. They took an offensive tackle late, smart guy from Yale, right? So big guy. He's a little bit green, maybe a developmental prospect, but I did like what they did. I'd go like a B+ for him.
Yeah, I would too. I like what Chicago did.
Well,
Best quarterback in Chicago history. And why is it
Oh.
Bob Avellini? What were you going to say, Jeff?
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, like they had that stat with Lincoln Riley punching out 3 number 1 overall draft picks,
Yeah.
Yep.
and and their fate, and so I mean, we'll just see if that trend continues with Caleb.
And we're not sure, because they haven't always turned out the best. The table set. Go do something with it. The Detroit Lions not only made the postseason last year, they actually won 2 playoff games. They nearly went to the Super Bowl this year. Detroit is back, and they're going to be back with something the Lions have always done really well with: super high expectations. The Lions went about working on that defense, which we know they needed to. They grabbed Alabama cornerback Terrion Arnold, who is a solid pick. They took Missouri cornerback Enos Rakestraw Jr. Jeff, the Lions are not used to actually being excited about a football season, but this draft, it may have upgraded that defense enough. Hey, Dan Campbell might not have to go for it on every 4th down. That's a good thing, isn't it?
Ideally, yeah. I mean, because that's when the wheels usually fall off, right? So if he doesn't have to be forced into that situation, that's one less potential mistake to be made. So I think Detroit is on the doorstep of being good again and really consistent. So having that kind of strength on the defense and putting stock in on the defense, because they just re-signed St. Brown. So I mean, Goff's gonna be there for a little while, I think. So I mean, the offense is looking solid. So now it was time to focus on the defense. So give them a solid B+.
Yeah.
B+.
I like what Detroit
because
did.
I mean,
Jeff, you said the Lions are on the precipice of being good again. Were you alive in the 50s? You don't look that old.
Well, that's a good point.
The Rodney Pete Barry Sanders era.
Yes,
that exactly. 1 year.
That one.
That Alex Karras, or was he not even in that?
Yeah, we go back to Alex. Maybe we get there.
Webster's dad.
Yes.
Webster's dad. Yes.
All right, we're moving on Webster's dad. We're moving forward. The Green Bay Packers were a huge surprise last year. I wasn't expecting much. They humiliated the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. They gave the Niners all they wanted too. They looked in the draft to help Jordan Love. They went out and got offensive tackle Jordan Morgan from Arizona, and then they took 3 safeties. Hey, not flashy, but the Packers went out and found some value, I think. Larry, how angry are the Packers going to make Aaron Rodgers this year if they actually do well?
They're going to make him angry.
Yeah.
The Packers, they had 11 picks, right?
Yeah.
I think the most of any team. So you grade him higher just on that account, I
Quantity,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, somebody's gonna, pan out. And Green Bay typically drafts well anyway,
Yeah,
right? Nobody wants to go to Green Bay voluntarily, right? So they have to draft talent, and they typically do. I give them a good B plus.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Green Bay did pretty well.
Is it true that somebody got drafted to Green Bay that has a cold water allergy or something like that? Is that
possible?
I read something that somebody got drafted and he has a cold water allergy. I didn't even know that was a thing, but go ahead.
It wasn't Aaron Rodgers. We reach the final team in the NFC North, and that is the Minnesota Vikings, who made some interesting moves in this draft. Remember, Kirk Cousins is gone. So Sam Darnold was going to be the guy. Well, the Vikings know how that ends up. So they traded up a spot. They went and got Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. They also got Alabama edge rusher Dallas Turner. Hey, I like the moves here. But Mike, is J.J. McCarthy actually a first-round talent? And what's your grade for Minnesota?
Well, probably not, but we all know how quarterbacks go, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's a run on them. I mean, what does it tell you that they spent capital to trade up one spot?
Right.
Because they're so fearful of their other teams jumping ahead of them, right? Yeah. So, J.J. McCarthy coming off a championship team, what did he do?
Not much.
Nothing.
That team was defense and a running game. I mean, he was very good at managing low expectations, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, his numbers are, completion percentages, all that are very good. There's just not a lot of, I don't know, spectacular film on him, right? So
True.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But if Minnesota can put him into a similar position, maybe they don't have a dominating running game or a really good defense, especially since they let Danielle Hunter go.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Dallas Turner pick. JJ McCarthy is kind of an unknown, so could be they felt they had to do it and they did it. So. B minus, C plus, maybe.
There's some aggressive moves. We'll see if they.
Now that Justin Jefferson's in the QB depth chart, so
right,
he might
be
throw the ball himself now.
We move to the AFC South and we go to the Houston Texans. Hey, they have already overachieved this offseason. They went and got running back Joe Mixon and wide receiver Stephon Diggs. So the Texans didn't have a first-round pick. But I don't know, maybe they didn't need one. They did take Georgia cornerback Kamari Lassiter with the 10th pick of the second round. But Jeff, are the Texans building something special, or did they go screw up all this good stuff with those two knuckleheads, Mixon and Diggs? Because we know that those guys bring some baggage. Do you like what the Texans did here?
I mean, I don't think they've shot themselves in the foot as of yet. I think they're probably they're going to be okay. These are just a little bit of fringe experiments that they're trying to see can fit. And they've got a good formula. They got a good base. They got a good foundation to really kind of make some damage next year. So or do some damage next year. Strong B, but I mean they're going to be built. Nick Caserio, I've heard a lot of good things about him, and obviously, the head coach DeMarco. So I just think that they're going to do real good in general. Overall, it's a weak division. They're going to be all right.
Yeah, they should be. They've got some pieces. We'll see if those two morons come in and screw it up, but they've got some good pieces there. The Indianapolis Colts are hoping to make a run at the playoffs this year, and I like their pick of UCLA edge rusher Laiatu Latu, which Jeff knows very well because he cheers for those Bruins, as well as Texas wide receiver Adonai Mitchell, both fit needs. And if quarterback Anthony Richardson could just stop hurting himself, hey, Indy could be a team on the rise. Larry, I kind of like what Indy did Is there a chance Jim Irsay sobered up for this draft?
Probably not. If
Not likely.
he's celebrating like me with the DU hockey championship. So.
Very possible.
No, hey, look, I think the Colts did okay. The best part about the Colts draft was Ballard's rant afterwards. So I think everything is kind of based on how Anthony Richardson does, right?
Yeah.
So as far as the draft goes, C, B,
yeah,
whatever. And I think they held their own. There's nothing spectacular, but I think they did a good job.
Yeah. All right. We head to one of the more disappointing teams from this past year. The Jacksonville Jaguars made a big diarrhea in the tub. They finished out of the postseason when some people were talking about, hey, maybe they're a Super Bowl contender. Well, in the first round this year, they traded back, but then they were still able to get LSU wide receiver Brian Thomas. Hey, he's a big, strong guy. He should be a nice target for Trevor Lawrence. I thought the Jags might have reached a little with some of their other picks, but I kind of like that pick. Mike, where do you come in on Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, they actually got a lot of value for trading back, right? And
Yeah.
then they get 3 mid-round picks between this year and next year. So didn't make any big splashes. Brian Thomas should be able to stretch the field a little bit, so that may help. The defensive tackle, Mason Smith, I think, might have been a bit of a reach in the later rounds there. So yeah, nothing exciting. I mean, like I said, they I don't know if it was something that they didn't know that or easily recognize that caused just kind of a subpar disappointing season last year. And they just think they can reset with a different mentality and go at it again. I don't know. Or maybe they think they're one deep ball guy away from it.
Maybe so. I always worry, those teams that are a little bit younger, especially when the quarterback is younger, and they have these huge expectations because you come out and everybody's saying, hey, beating Houston this year it would be nice if you did. No, you have to do it. And it always seems to set these teams back. I kind of worry about that a little bit with Houston this year. We'll see how that goes, but it's different when you are the hunted instead of the hunter. It just is. The Tennessee Titans are a complete and utter disaster. They are in need of a total overhaul. They began that process. They got rid of some people. They're shipping some people out. But what they did in the draft here, they upgraded their trenches. They went and they got Alabama offensive tackle J.C. Latham. They got Texas defensive tackle Devondre Sweat. These picks aren't necessarily sexy, but when you have Will Levis at quarterback, you kind of got to do what you got to do. And remember, Derrick Henry is now gone. So this might be a solid step in the right direction. Jeff, what do you have for the Tennessee Titans?
I mean, because of the fact that I didn't really hear anything good from anybody about their drafts, I'm going to have to go with a D because,
D it is.
Yeah, nothing really to speak of as far. I mean, like you said, some of those, big boys down in front, is going to help that. If you're going to start from scratch,
yeah,
that's where you got to start.
Got it.
There's no point stretching the field if your quarterback can't stay upright. So, and Will Levis, I mean, strong arm kid, but he's gonna be running for his life if they don't get these guys up and ready fast for him. So yeah. I mean, get going with it, get the coaching, coach them up, get these guys in, get these guys ready to go, and start battling in one of the crappiest divisions in the NFL.
Correct. All right. We're heading to the NFC South, and we have what might be the most confusing draft
Oh, here we go.
in history. I don't know. The Atlanta Falcons went out this offseason. They gave quarterback Kirk Cousins $180 million on a 4-year deal. So instead of drafting help for him or getting defense, because we know that defense was awful, they used the number 8 overall pick on Washington quarterback Michael Penix. Hey, I like Penix. Just, why? Why do you go? If you say this is insurance, if Cousins gets hurt, then why give Cousins the money? Just bite the bullet and go have a rookie quarterback. This isn't a Jordan Love situation. I mean, he still has 4 years on the deal. I don't get it. Larry, help me understand what in the world are the Falcons doing, because I don't get it.
Yeah, I think there's general confusion for everybody about this, and they've offered no explanation other
No.
than what I think I heard, which was what's wrong with having two quality quarterbacks, and I do get that, and they did do they got help. I think they were generally heavy on the
Defensive side, yeah.
for the rest of the draft, which. To your point, it was the right thing to do. I like Penix. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. And
in 2030.
It could be, but
he'll be 27 by then.
Hey, listen, Cousins has a history of roaming around too, right? And so after what I think his deal was, a couple years. 4 years, but 2 at the top. So after 2 years, maybe that's they thought they give a quarterback 2 years to. And now I think Penix, having been drafted, he's cheap. He'll be in there sooner rather than later. But this is all just people speculating. I don't think anybody really knows what they were.
One theory I had heard was that they're so confident, the Falcons are so confident with Cousins coming in, that they don't anticipate having high draft picks these next couple of years.
Yeah.
So they might as well get their talent now.
They had to do it, yeah. Well, if there's one thing that the Atlanta Falcons have a track history of, it's success. Moving on to Carolina.
Can I ask a quick question? Is Jeff, are you in a closet, or did the power outage?
No, the sun just set. The sun just set.
You get to pay your electric bill?
Exactly. Hold on. Let me turn it on. Hold on.
Hey, also, side note on that Penix pick there, all the dogs in Atlanta are nervous that there's another left-handed Falcon quarterback named Michael. So
yes, yeah,
that's a little bit scary, isn't it? Yeah, you don't want to be a Rottweiler down there right now. That make you a little bit nervous looking over your shoulder Is this the call? Hope this isn't the call.
This is the one.
Might be the call. I don't know. Yeah, I might be a little bit nervous. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers, who are developing a reputation for having the next horrible, meddling owner. The Panthers were not scheduled to have a first-round pick, but they pulled off a trade on Thursday night. They grabbed the 32 pick from the Bills, and they used it on South Carolina wide receiver Xavier Legette. I don't know why, because I thought he could have gone in the second day really, really easily. In the second round, they grabbed Texas running back Jonathan Brooks. Mike, both these picks suck. Do you like what Carolina did? Because I sure don't.
Not one bit. D might be generous. I mean, you and I think everybody agrees that Legette would have been there. They could have traded down and probably still got him. I don't know what they see in him. Or maybe somebody duped him into trading up and throwing out some rumors. I don't know. That made no sense. Brooks, I don't know. Is he healthy? I don't know. That is a bad draft.
Carolina's not very good at this.
No, they're not good at football.
No, they're not. And I hate to always say it, but it goes back to their owner. Their owner doesn't know what he's doing. He's always getting over involved. He's a complete nutcase. Yeah, Carolina, hey, I hope you enjoyed that loss in the Super Bowl that you had a few years back, because you're not getting anywhere near that anytime soon, because you're a mess. And we always talk about it starts at the top. It starts at the top, and you're going to experience that. It is a mess. Okay, moving on. The New Orleans Saints just missed the playoffs last year. They are looking to improve their offensive front. They got Oregon State offensive tackle Talise Fuaga. And then I actually think they might have got a little bit of a decent pick. They got Alabama cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry, has one of the best names, if nothing else, early in the second round.
Best.
Jeff, did the Saints get value in this draft?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they develop it, but I give them a strong B. I think they can make some noise with their young talent early on. So I I just don't know. Man, I got really little confidence in Derek Carr to
Yeah.
kind of make things really kind of flourish.
Yeah. I have
So
none.
I mean, I'm not like I said. I mean, I have a little bit of shaky confidence, but it's really on some shaky ground. So, but I mean, as far as their draft goes, a B,
Yeah.
a B.
Yeah. And, they did go get Spencer Rattler late. Hey, maybe he ends up
Yeah,
eventually being the guy that takes over for Derek Carr. We know Derek Carr is going to get
the
hurt.
diamond in
So,
the rough. You never know,
yes.
man.
Yes. Let's go with that. That idiot. Okay. Moving on. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers also look to build their offensive line. They went out and grabbed center from Duke, Graham Barton. Then they took Alabama edge rusher Chris Braswell, who I actually like because remember, they've got to replace Shaq Barrett. He went to Miami. Larry, it seems like Tampa made at least some solid moves if they can just keep quarterback Baker Mayfield's head on straight this year. How do you like what Tampa did?
Yeah, as far as the draft, Tampa I think did pretty good.
Yeah.
B, high B. I don't those guys you talked about are good picks. And maybe because you're just not accustomed to Tampa Bay, doing well in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But I think they had a good draft, so I'd give them a B or B plus. Yep.
I would agree with that. I kind of like what they did. Okay, fellas. I know we have one on this panel that is not a Denver Bronco fan, but let's get it out of the way. We're going to move to the AFC West, and we're going to start with our beloved Denver Broncos. The Broncos decided to eat that $85 million in dead cap money. They dumped quarterback Russell Wilson, and they admitted failure. So the Broncos need a quarterback. Well, last week, they went out and they made a trade for Jets' disappointment, Zach Wilson. Hey, I like Zach's mom as much as the next guy, but I don't know if you can build anything around him. But I was thinking when they did that, go build your roster, tank for a few years, and then go get your guy. But instead, the Denver Broncos take Oregon quarterback Bo Nix at number 12. Bo Nix in the first round is too early. Pick 12 is kind of insane to me. Okay. I want to get one thing on the table. People say if you see your guy, go get him no matter what. And that sounds, like ESPN just said that. That sounds good. But let me ask you this. If you're starving and you say, I'm going to go get McDonald's, but a Big Mac is $100, you probably should go across the street because that's dumb to pay $100 for a Big Mac. I'm going to get my pressure up.
There it is.
I'm not going to go down this path. Okay. You have to get value is what I'm saying. Mike, give me your Broncos grade. And why is it an F?
You and I have different opinions on this. Let me talk you off the ledge a little bit.
Please do.
Here's the thing. Sean Payton is not a young coach.
No, you're right.
Sean Payton wants to be the first coach to win 2 Super Bowls. He sees what he wants in Nix, right?
Yeah.
He's smart. He's accurate. He doesn't take a lot of sacks. I think those 3 things are completely opposite of the quarterback we just got rid of, right?
No, that's fair. You're right.
Okay. A lot of people said they should have traded down to get him. I don't think he'd have been there, right? The Atlanta pulling Penix created a lot of a panic on the quarterback run there. So I think if they'd have traded down to 19 or 20, he wouldn't have been there. Somebody would have grabbed him. So it's opposite of the best player available, right? It's best player for biggest need available. And that was by far Nix. Picking his buddy, his number 1 receiver, I think is going to help. He apparently aced the 3 booklets of offensive plays that they handed him the night before his interview and recited every single one of them. He wowed him, right? So we are done with the rookie and the retread, the old coordinators, Fangio and whatnot for coaches. We got a head coach who we need to trust. This was his guy, so I'm not as hairs on fire as a lot of people are with this. So I like the pick.
Okay.
I like the draft, right? I think once you get past Knicks, almost every one of their picks was incredible value, way lower than all these guys were projected to go, right? Ellis, a lot of people
Yeah,
said he was a second round guy.
Yeah, I thought he would go earlier.
High motor. Franklin, they traded up to get him because he didn't belong in the 4th round, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. They got the wide receiver they got late. A lot of people liking him to Tim Patrick. I have no problem with that.
Need that.
The
'Cause we
bowling
can't have
ball
Tim
running
Patrick.
back from Notre Dame. Yeah,
I actually do like him. The running back from Notre Dame is I saw him play, and that kid can play a little bit. No, he's a small guy, and he doesn't look like the guy, but he's no
he
joke.
plays faster than he runs on the track.
Yes, he does, and can pick up blitzers and
Yep.
can be a threat out of the backfield. He could be a
Yep.
third down guy real easy from
Yep.
day one.
Got some cornerback depth. I like this, and it's funny. You go online and you look, draft grades, yada yada yada, and the Broncos have the widest range of any team out there. There's people that say
everywhere.
F, they're stupid, they suck, there was a dumb pick. There's
Yeah.
people that say, oh, they nailed it. I give them a B. I'm on the high end. I give them a
Okay.
B minus.
Okay.
What do you
fair
think
enough.
the smart money is on? Do you think the smart money is Nix or Bo Nix beats out Zach Wilson for the starting position?
Oh, that's more than smart money. That's even money.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think
All right.
Zach is just too stupid. Best quarterback drafted by the Denver Broncos in history. Larry, go.
Billy Van Heusen.
Close. Mike.
Tim Tebow.
See,
There it is.
your best quarterback ever drafted by the franchise is probably a Jay Cutler, a Brian Greasy, or Tim Tebow, and that's not even being funny. That is just a fact. We've never drafted. We've
That's
only
correct.
went and got someone else from somewhere else.
Yep.
Hey, Sean Payton, go make history because we've never seen it before. We're going to see if this turns out. The defending champion Kansas City Chiefs knew they needed some wide receiver help. They made a move and got it. They traded up.
Everybody knew
Texas
it.
Wide receiver, yes, Xavier Worthy, who posted the fastest 40 time in NFL Combine history. Now they pair him up with Hollywood Brown. Hey, the Chiefs have speed to burn. And then they also went out and got a BYU offensive tackle who feels the need. Jeff, the Chiefs just seem to keep coming up roses.
They are.
I mean, did they do it again?
I think so. And when you could really just throw a blind dart at a draft board and they're going to be all right. As far as how well they're built now from the ground up. I just, the good keep getting better. And, when you got idiot moves like Buffalo gift wrapping that guy to them, so it's frustrating. But I mean, I can only imagine Bronco fan because I mean, it was what we dealt with in the early 2000s, and when the Patriots were perennial contenders. No matter who they drafted, whatever, they always drafted okay. But Belichick, that whole system was always built to, really foster talent. So I think the Chiefs are that team now as far as what we're looking at. I mean, they're talking three-peat, so they already know.
Has to end sometime. It has to end sometime. And
Yeah.
when it does, it's gonna hurt. Okay, moving on. The Los Angeles Chargers have a new head coach in Jim Harbaugh, and it was apparent because instead of going out and grabbing the sexy wide receivers that get hurt in week 3, the Chargers went out and made a smart move instead. They get Notre Dame offensive tackle Joe Alt. I know. Alt looks like a big, giant child, and his girlfriend was clearly homeschooled, but this seems like a solid pick for the Chargers. Larry, do you like what the Chargers did in this draft?
Yeah, of course. I mean, big offensive lineman to help your, franchise quarterback is never a bad thing. So I give them a B. They got undrafted free agent Willis Patrick, not to be confused with Patrick Willis.
Patrick Willis, right.
And
what are you talking about, Patrick?
because I'm getting ready to go to the theaters and see the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Who
They
isn't?
also drafted at 253 a guy by the name of Cornelius. So
Ooh.
nothing wrong with the Chargers draft at all.
Hey, you could see Jim Harbaugh's imprint on this team already. That is not what they would have done in the past.
No.
They would have went and got a sexy wide receiver or something and then not paid him in 3 years. This
That's
is
right.
definitely a change, which worries me. I'm not going to lie. But I also found it very interesting that they say they were shopping Justin Herbert a little bit around the league and just kind of gauging interest. Things are a little bit different with the Chargers now.
Yeah, and you're right. We heard those rumors, and we hear a lot of rumors. And I think 25%, well, maybe lower than that. You hear so much in the draft about what teams are going to do and what they're not going to do, and who they're shopping and who they're looking for. It's all smoke. It's all an effort to throw teams above them off track of who they really want. So yeah.
All right,
they could have got Neighbors. They could have got Neighbors, and then to give
they could have
a weapon.
They could have.
They chose to give all. So
they could have had a few guys. Yeah. So they went and made a move. We're going to be more physical up front. That is a departure from what they have done. Let's finish off the AFC West with the Las Vegas Raiders. Hey, the Raiders have a history of making great picks early in the draft. Guys like Henry Ruggs, Jamarcus Russell, Rolando McClain. They've got a track record of taking really, really good players. Well, in this draft, the Raiders go out and they get Georgia tight end Brock Bowers. Now, I'm a little confused by this because they have tight ends. They don't have a bona fide quarterback. They're going into the season with Aiden McConnell and Gardner Minshew. Mike, is this Raiders doing Raider things, or are they smarter than we think they are?
I doubt it's the latter, right?
Yeah.
I don't get this pick. I don't.
It's weird. He's really good.
He is,
but it doesn't make sense. They have tight ends.
He's off the charts in every measurable of a tight end, right? But if you don't have anybody to throw him the damn ball, what does it matter?
You're right.
Kyle Pitts was picked what, 5th or something ridiculous like that. Where is he?
Doing nothing.
Why?
There's no one to get him the ball.
Thank you. I don't
run blocking. Run blocking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get the pick. I don't like it. I don't like it. Some of their other picks were stretches too. Have they had a first round pick stick in the last, I don't know, decade? They just
no.
It's
well.
I don't like their first round pick history.
One stuck to the front end of that Lamborghini he was driving, I think, but he's stuck in prison now.
Yes.
C minus D.
Yeah,
plus.
yeah. The Raiders did weird things. The Raiders did weird things. Yeah.
Is this side note? Wasn't it just gosh? It just seems like a couple of years ago they had Darren Waller and traded him, and now Darren Waller is considering retirement. How quickly did that thing fall off?
Went bad very, very fast. I don't know. The Raiders, there's some
weird.
He was really good.
Yeah.
And Renfro too, right? Did they have Renfro?
Yeah. And then he, I don't know, went off the deep end and can't catch the ball now. He's banged up a lot. He gets hurt a lot. All right, let's finish off our way too early 2024 NFL draft grades in the NFC West. And we start with the Arizona Cardinals, who were looking to give their little tiny baby quarterback, Kyler Murray, some big help. And they may have done that. The Cards grabbed Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. I actually think he might be the best player in the draft. We'll see. And then they got some pass rush help as well in Missouri edge rusher Darius Robinson. Jeff, am I crazy, or did Arizona actually make good moves?
I think they did. I mean, obviously, they're trying to come back from disaster from the Cliff Kingsbury days and all that. So, and Kyler Murray's, I think he's going to make a little bit of a resurgence. So, he's just one of the. He was a first round pick. What, like 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
I mean, so I think they are making solid moves in the right direction. They may be a little slow out of the gate. I mean, trying to see if they can get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. well enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as like a grade goes, C.
Yeah.
See, nothing really. I mean, I don't know what they got in the later rounds necessarily, but obviously, like you said, there's a good argument that Marvin Harrison Jr. was the best player on the board,
He
better
looks
than
really,
Taylor.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks really, really good and can do everything. If you've got a little tiny quarterback, maybe you pair him up with a giant wide receiver that can do everything, because that actually might work.
Yeah.
The LA Rams were better than expected last year, and they actually got to make a first-round draft pick this year. I think it's the first time since they took Roman Gabriel, something like that. Anyways, the Rams need to beef up that pass rush because remember, Aaron Donald retired. They went and got Florida State edge rusher Jared Verse. They also got Michigan running back Blake Corum, who might actually be a good fit for them. Larry, how do you grade the LA Rams?
I give them a solid C.
Yeah,
right.
they're pretty good.
It's been a roller coaster for the Rams, right? So I think they got what they needed. You got to replace Aaron Donald, and I don't know if this guy's going to do it. He was a top name, so I expect they know what they're getting. For that reason only, some teams go to the draft getting the player they need to get. I think they got him.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like what the Rams did. We'll see if it pans out. They need to get tougher inside instead of outside, but I guess you take what you can get. The San Francisco 49ers lost the Super Bowl, but hey, this is still a really, really talented team. But they did make me scratch my head a bit in the draft. They take Florida wide receiver Ricky Pearsall with their top pick. Hey, I like Pearsall. I like him a lot. But don't the 49ers already have wide receivers? Mike, are the Niners going to be dealing someone away? Or do they just really like fast white guys? I don't know what to expect. What did the Niners do here? Do you like what they did?
Well, I don't know. Isn't Ayuk wanting a contract extension or a trade or something in there
Yes.
to chatter about that? So, I mean, maybe that's why they did that, just as protection. I don't know. They took a cornerback, Ronaldo Green, a little early too. So, I don't know. I wasn't real impressed by their draft overall.
Yeah, I was expecting more, and it surprised me because, like you said, with the situation with Ayuk, is that insurance or is that, hey, we're moving him? I don't know what to make of that. I thought that was a little bit confusing. All right, let's finish off our Daily Dose 2024 NFL way too early draft grades with the Seattle Seahawks, who are going to look very different this year because remember, Pete Carroll is no longer pacing the sidelines and yelling, woo, every play. The Seahawks went defense. They take Texas defensive tackle Byron Murphy in the first round, but they really didn't have many picks after that. Jeff, what is your grade for the Seattle Seahawks?
Oh, D plus, I guess. I mean, I'm not looking at anything spectacular
They didn't
from
have
them
many
over
picks.
there. No, I mean, you got to just grab whatever falls in your lap. I mean, good, bad, or indifferent, and just pick the best player available. So I think that's probably what they did. Drew Lock no, Drew Lock's not there, is he?
It'll be Gino. It should be Gino.
It's still Gino. That's right. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay. I mean, gosh, but they're seeming to focus more on the defensive side now, right?
They
I mean,
need to.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a tough division, but they've always seemed to kind of be hanging in there, for the most part, middle of the road. So maybe get one game changer, one guy that can, pop the ball out, maybe get that ball back into Gino's hands a little quicker. So yeah, I mean, but as far as overall grade, D,
right.
just like my report card.
That's fine. D's get degrees. Remember that.
D's get degrees.
Hey, the 2024 NFL draft is complete. We are now kind of done with football a little bit until we get into late summer, which is a little bit depressing to me, but we know we should have yet another exciting season coming. And we know the way this goes. It's going to be here before we know it. We're going to be sitting here in another few months going, can you believe the draft just took place and we're already getting ready to, talk preseason. So it will be here before we know it. But before I let each of you go, and I want to thank you each for stopping by, I've got to ask you, what is it you're planning on doing between now and football season? Because there's all these different seasons. You got fall, it's great, and the holidays are really fun, and you got bowl games. You got then you get into the winter, and you got Super Bowl, and you got March Madness. You got all these. Now we are heading into a tough stretch. When the NBA and NHL finish up now, it's going to be a long, dry stretch until we get back to football. Mike, our Denver Broncos are making us stress. They're getting my blood pressure up, but we do have the Denver Nuggets. We do have the Colorado Avalanche, at least for the time being. How are you going to survive until football season comes back?
Yeah, hopefully, like you're saying, hopefully our Nuggets and Avalanche keep us entertained into June, right?
Let's hope so.
If not one or the other, or both, that'd be nice. Other than that, I don't know. It's kind of a shoulder season for what I like to do a little early for my my mountain hiking and
Yes.
things like that. So it's we don't have baseball to watch here, so that just sucks. So it's
No,
almost
no,
gonna have to be
we're hoping.
not sports related stuff. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll say hi to my wife every now and then or something.
Yeah, yeah. Mike, how many 14ers have you actually reached the top of here in Colorado?
51 of the 58.
Okay. So
Mike,
yeah,
Nice.
Mike, do you know you're going to have to go back and redo those? I heard they're lowering the elevation on the
The elevation doesn't matter. I still was on top.
What if it's not a 14er anymore?
I don't give a change the way they measure, man. I was on top, man.
all right. Mike is grading on a curve. Jeff, your Miami Dolphins seem to be putting some serious pieces together, but I think we all know it'll end in disappointment. But hey, at least you have the Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
And
they're in first place. First place, Seattle Mariners.
that's right. And you have the Oklahoma City Thunder also in first place going into the playoffs. Jeff is our resident Oklahoma City Thunder fan. Jeff, we have to discuss something. I hate to bring this up. I swear I hate to bring this up, but if I have to
Is it about the commercial?
if I have to see that commercial one more time, I
Oh, it's
swear.
so bad.
What commercial? I don't know what you're talking about.
AT&T. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
No, I know,
Got
Jeff.
you. Oh, sorry.
Everyone
Because
does.
I asked Clint. I was like, "What commercial?" at first, and he just bombed my phone with it. So,
Well,
yeah.
So just to continue on this subject, like I'm your average fan. No one knows who those two guys are.
You mean
Just
Chet Holmgren
FYI.
is not a household name? Wow. Okay.
FYI, no one that AT&T is marketing that commercial to knows who those two guys are.
Who the hell those two guys are?
That was a
the new
rough
Abbott
one.
and Costello. Yeah,
I don't even
guess.
care. I don't even care that they have the commercial. I don't mind that it exists. I mind that they keep showing it every 5 minutes, every single
Well, it's
commercial.
between that and the Jardians commercial. Which would you rather have?
Oh,
I
that's
just say sprinkle some lily in there, right? Like AT&T, like throw me a couple lilies, and then go with those two guys.
Yeah, where'd Lily go? I like Lily.
I love Lily.
Lily was
You
easy on the
love Lily.
eyes. Sure.
Oh,
Yes.
Lily is spectacular. We've traded Lily for these two
For these
morons.
two assets. Hey man, but they're killing it. They're killing it, my man.
All
We'll
right.
see you guys. We'll see you guys in the West Finals.
You're okay. You're feeling good though. You're feeling good about your off season, Jeff. All right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm a seam head, baseball seam head at
you
heart.
are.
So I love baseball, and it does keep the juices flowing and keep me held off until September. So that's when I go full Dolphin mode.
I'll tell you
we
what.
can make a road trip out to see the Grand Junction Jackalopes.
Excellent idea.
That's a darn good idea.
I enjoy baseball as well. It helps me catch up on the sleep that I didn't get the night before. Finally, we reach Larry, the savvy veteran. Larry, the DU hockey season is over. Ski season is nearly over. We know we don't have Major League Baseball in Colorado. So what are you going to be doing in the offseason to survive until our next football season?
Well, there's a couple things. There's still a few more weekends left in the ski season.
Okay.
We've got our 5th ranked DU Pioneer lacrosse team in action. And then we're just waiting for the runoff to go fishing. That's it.
That's right. You got fishing season. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
well, hey, we know we are rooting, at least 3 of us are rooting for our Denver Nuggets. We're rooting for the Colorado Avalanche. We're gonna see if they go anywhere. Jeff is gonna cheer for his Oklahoma City Thunder, and that horrible commercial won't bring horrible karma down on that city and franchise. But I wanna say this, I wanna say thanks to each of you for coming into the dose. I appreciate your visits. I appreciate you coming in and talking NFL draft, and we will have to do this again, sometime soon. But I want to say thanks for coming in and discussing the NFL with us. We always enjoy your visits.